Hey everyone, Mr. Terra here with your e-learning lesson for April the 13th. Today we're going to be talking about the FFA emblem. So we will spend some time digging into each of the individual components of that FFA emblem, and we'll explain a little bit about the history of the FFA emblem and what it means to FFA. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. So one thing you need to understand about FFA is that it's a national organization, and because it's a national organization, it has several different levels to its structure. I kind of equate it to our government. We have obviously our local government here in Boone County, and even beyond that, you go to Thorntown or Jamestown, they have city governments, and then the level above that's the county government, and then the state government, and then finally all the way up to the federal or the national government. FFA is the same way. We have local uh, FFA structure. That would be at the chapter level. So Western Boone FFA would be the local level of FFA. Uh, the next level up would be the district. Uh, we are a part of District 4. There are 12 FFA districts in Indiana. We are a part of District 4. The next level up would be the state. Obviously, Western Boone FFA is part of Indiana FFA, the Indiana FFA Association. And then finally, National FFA, which actually the National FFA organization is based out of Indiana, not too far from Boone County. If you go down to Traders Point, there kind of around Indianapolis, you'll find the National FFA headquarters. So we do have several levels to FFA structure. The FFA colors are national blue and corn gold. Now, it's important that we know that those are the specific colors of FFA, not just blue and gold. It's actually national blue and corn gold. And the idea behind that is that the national blue represents our nation's flag. If you look at an American flag, the part of the American flag with the stars, with the blue background behind the white stars is national blue. It's that same color of blue. And then corn gold represents the golden fields of ripened corn, obviously synonymous with agriculture. So, before we talk about the FFA emblem, I think it's always interesting to talk about what a logo is and the impact and the importance of a logo. Um, all organizations have them, just a lot of uh, nonprofit organizations, but also, very successful companies have emblems. And those emblems are very, very powerful because they are synonymous with that brand and with that organization. And as soon as you see that logo, boom, automatically you associate it with a certain thing, a certain idea. So one thing that I think it's fun to do is to look at some of these emblems, and we're going to actually give you guys a chance to do that and kind of play a little game where you uh, evaluate your ability to recognize some very popular emblems. Even on this slide right here, we've got three emblems, and I'm sure all of you could easily name all three of these emblems. They're, household names basically. We've got Superman here, the Olympics right here, and then Apple right here. Three very, very powerful logos that uh, are easy to associate with certain brands. So, oops, take a second, maybe if you've got a scrap piece of paper or if you want to record these some other way. We're going to go through. I've got 10 different emblems for you, 10 different logos, and we're going to go through them. And I want you to write down what you think they are. So we'll go through them, and then we'll go back, and then we'll see how well you did. Okay, so here's your first logo. Write down what you think that one is. Number two. Number three. Number 4, number 5, number 6, oops, number 7, number 8, number 9, and number 10. Okay, let's go over the results and see how you did. The first one, I think it's pretty easy. Facebook. Obviously, we've all seen that one probably at some point or another. Number 2, 2 is actually for a web browser, Mozilla Firefox. Number 3, pretty easy, Batman. Number 4, another pretty easy one, Nike. Number 5, Xbox. Number 6, this was the first one that I thought might be a little tricky for you. Number 6 is actually for Quaker Oats. So if you've ever seen oats or oatmeal or something like that at the grocery store, you've probably seen this guy's face on it. Number 7, BP, British Petroleum. It's an oil company. Number 8, another pretty easy one, Amazon. Number 9, Volkswagen, car manufacturer. Well, this one's a little tricky too. Number 10, GE General Electric. They make appliances, refrigerators, washing machines, things like that. So how did you do? I would say most of you probably got 5, 6, 7, shoot, maybe some of you got 10 out of 10. Emblems are a very, very important part of companies and organizations. So how does a logo help a company? Well, a logo provides a quick first impression of your company, products, and or services. Professionally designed, developed, and designed logo helps your customers retain a positive image of your company's quality, reliability, quality, or value, and more. So an emblem is important because it's the first thing people notice about your company. It's very unlikely that they're going to take time and do research and learn about your company, but they will learn what your logo is and what your emblem is, and that's going to be their first impression of your organization. And the FFA emblem is no different. We're going to break down the individual components of that FFA emblem. So the first thing that you'll notice about the FFA emblem is that the entire emblem is housed within a cross section of an ear of corn. Now you might be saying, well, that doesn't look like an ear of corn. Well, if you took an ear of corn and you snapped it in half and you looked at cross section, okay, you turned it to the side and looked at the cross section, that's exactly what it would look like. This round area is the cob, and then the kernels, you'll notice, are around the outside. And the idea of using a cross section of corn that represents unity. So whether you live in Alaska, Puerto Rico, Maine, or Hawaii, or any of those states in between, corn is grown somewhere in your state. Corn is one of the only crops that is grown in all 50 states in some capacity. Now, obviously, some more than others. We grow a lot more corn here in Indiana than they do in Alaska, but they do grow some corn nonetheless. So it creates unity, and that's why it's the foundation of the National FFA emblem. At the background of that cross section of ear corn, you'll see the rising sun. And the rising sun signifies progress. So, agriculture, as we know, has developed new technologies and evolved a lot over the years to meet consumer demand. So, FFA as well continues to evolve. We've talked about several of the historic events that have happened over the course of FFA history, well, all of those things have resulted in FFA evolving and advancing and trying to improve and get better. And the rising sun kind of is the emblem of that hope and that striving for improvement. You'll also notice the plow. Okay, there's a plow right in the center of the FFA emblem with an owl seated on top of that plow. But the plow signifies labor and tillage of the soil. So FFA is an organization founded on agriculture, and agriculture is the backbone of our country. You see it all the time. I mean, with the current state of affairs, with everybody quarantined and the country kind of shut down in a lot of ways. What's one industry that doesn't really get the chance to shut down? Agriculture, because without agriculture, there's no food. And if we don't have food, excuse me, if we don't have food, things unravel pretty quickly. So agriculture is in many ways the backbone of life here in the United States, and that plow signifies the labor uh, necessary for agriculture. At the top of the FFA emblem, seated at the top of the cross section out of your corn, you'll see an eagle, and that eagle represents freedom. Obviously, the eagle is our national bird. It's a national symbol of the United States, and that reminds all FFA members that they have the freedom to explore new horizons in the future of agriculture. And then seated on top of that emblem, seated on top of that plow, sorry, in the middle of the emblem is the owl, and the owl represents knowledge. So, the owl is thought of as a symbol of wisdom, things like that. So, that owl represents the knowledge that's required to be successful in the industry of agriculture. It's not just as simple as putting a seed in the ground and collecting a paycheck. There's a lot of knowledge and a lot of uh, things that you have to know in order to be successful in agriculture. And then finally, you'll see the words agricultural education and FFA. So that signifies the combination of those two things. We talked about that three-part model of ag education: classroom instruction, FFA, and SAE. And this kind of shows the relationship between those two things. Okay, we will stop there for right now. But what I want you to understand is that FFA emblem is very important because it is the first thing people see about our organization many, many times. So that is why understanding the emblem and the components of that emblem are so very, very important. Okay, so you have some questions I want you to answer on Canvas uh, regarding the FFA emblem and emblems in general. And then tomorrow we will finish up our discussion on FFA by talking about the degrees available to you in FFA, and we will kind of finish things up. So once again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, but I will field any questions that you have, and if not, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a great day.